on my way to workflow. A lot of the times I don't have the time during the daytime to do my live stream like I used to or like I want to, but I'm gonna try a little bit tonight. I actually left for work early so that I could have some time to do this. What I want to talk about real quick though is this Kenneka Jenkins, Kenneka, excuse me. It's been a lot going on, and a lot of people saying a lot of different things, and one thing that I found out for sure is that nobody knows shit for sure except for the police, if you ask me. I heard people saying, oh, the reason that she was downstairs in the hotel lobby was because she just got a job at a hotel and she worked there or whatever, and come to find out her mom said, her family says she just got a job at a nursing home. So that's a false flag. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been so many false flags, so many her friend this and her friends that, speculating that it is the friend who did something. There's really no facts to back none of that up, for real. It's from the little bit that I seen. But what I did want to go over was the little bit that I did see. And here at Shame TV, East Watch, Derek Jones Talks, I have my own way of breaking stuff down, and I like to take what is given, meaning I'd rather you tell me what it is that you do know, tell me what it is that you do have, and then we'll build off of what you have. So what we do have is statements made by the police. Like, if you want to find out who's behind a caper, it's generally the person who's giving you the most misinformation or the most deflection. So in this situation, we could talk about the girlfriend, we could talk about this, we could talk about that. But what I do know for a fact is that the group of people who have given the most deflection, the most resistance, basically, in my opinion, telling outright lies are the police. Now, you have a situation where they don't want to reveal the girl's autopsy reports. Not only do they not want to reveal her autopsy reports, okay? Not only do they not want to reveal her autopsy reports, they don't want to come out and make a definitive statement that that there was no blunt force trauma involved. Now, the reason why I'm saying that and making a little issue about blunt force trauma is because if you came out and said your official stance is that this person was drunk and walked into a freezer and locked herself in a freezer and subsequently died from doing so. That's what they said. After all the little time they had or whatever, that's what the police said. Even as of right now, that's the official stance, that she died from basically carelessness to her own self, disregard to her own safety, her own carelessness, from her being extremely intoxicated, blah, 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 blah. Now, am I saying I believe that? No. What I am saying is that is something to go off of, meaning they're the only people who are given a definitive statement. So if you don't know something, just come out and say you don't know something. Why is the police acting weird the whole time? Why is the police acting like they didn't even want to fucking help her mother watch a tape? These niggas talking about they felt sorry for her and this, that, and the third, so that's why they forced the hotel manager or whatever the hell the situation was, because here again, I hear one thing, and every time I hear something, I can find somebody else saying completely opposite to that. So we're just gonna take the middle road when it comes to these stories of this young woman, because even that video ain't enough to tell shit except that she was wandering around, and when I seen it, I said that's the bottom of a fucking restaurant, generally a hotel restaurant or a building restaurant, and no one's down there. Like, you gotta go down to get to those places. They're not just, here go a door and it leads to that back kitchen. Like, it doesn't work like that, because I've worked in construction jobs before, so I know how the setup is. And you don't just walk in a door and then you at the bottom of somebody's kitchen, unless it's the back door, which means she had to have been outside behind the building, and then subsequently walked in that door, and that's how she got down there. So all of that looks weird in and of itself, but again, that's no information to go on other than to point out that she was tipsy off of something, and who knows what the fuck that really is. Because if you say that she was drunk, she was so drunk that she walked into a freezer, then why the fuck, when it's time to share the autopsy report, why in the heck is there such a big deal about showing what you found? Why is everyone being so hush-hush? I just have a real issue with the person or the people who cause the most deflection. And when the mother's not causing deflection, she's not trying to keep nobody from investigating. The friend, the girlfriend, probably has other things that she don't want to talk to the police about because she looks like she wilding in the streets, and she even basically admitted such. So just because you don't want to deal with the police don't make you no fucking murder suspect. Factually, it doesn't make you a murder suspect. Because if we go by those standards, anyone who doesn't like what the police and or the government says, therefore you're a terrorist and or some sort of criminal suspect. And that's a slippery slope that I advise no one to start going down. Do not go down that just because somebody don't want to talk to this group of known corrupt motherfuckers that they must have done something. Because we all know how the police really are. We all know how they really carry it and what they do. But we seem to get amnesia when they're investigating something to act as though even though they're a piece of shit, lying piece of shit, crooked as fuck, but now they're going to be noble. So I don't trust them. I don't trust, and I don't care for that anybody who doesn't trust them openly says that they don't trust them. Now, this whole situation about her having her back and me being there for you, yo, that makes total sense. I'm not going to argue with that because I don't know anybody that would let their drunk friends, just be walking off doing all whatever unless they was drunk themselves. That's the only thing I could think of, that you was fucked up yourself. Or you were so preoccupied with whatever pecker was in the room or whatever the fuck was going on in that room that you wanted to be live and be fly in that fucking room. People said that they heard screams from the bathroom. I listened to the video. I didn't hear nobody screaming, help, he's raping me, or help, anything of the sort. Maybe she was. Just because I didn't hear it doesn't mean shit. All I'm trying to say is there's been a whole lot of fucking speculation and going ons about this girl, and I just felt like, as far as my platform and me coming out and saying something, I'm only going to talk about what there is to talk about. And the fact of the matter is, everything else is speculation except for the fact that the police and or the government structure with the police represent have been the only ones lying, have been the only ones hindering this situation so far. They're the only ones who are acting as though they have something to hide. If we're going to use that term, acting like you got something to hide, they're the only ones who are acting like they got something to hide. Like these people came out. I don't even think I brought my notebook because I knew I was going to be. But these people came out because I wrote some stuff down earlier. I'm going to do another video about this because I wrote some stuff down when I was looking it up earlier. I got up early and I said, you know what? I'm going to just dive into this because I haven't really been diving into it because I don't like trendy shit. Like, soon as it came out, it was like everybody jumped on. I don't do trends like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, whatever. I don't know nothing about that. And why is they picking that girl? You know what I'm saying? To make a big story about. But anyway, now that we're on it, it was some interesting conclusions that I came to from watching at least a few hours of different sources. And I'm like, man, the only thing conclusive I have is that the police are saying some wishy-washy shit. They are saying some wishy-washy shit. They're saying that, like I said, my major issue was the fact that they have an issue with coming out and just openly saying, yes, there was no signs of injury, blunt force trauma, or anything of that sort. That would lead us to think that maybe she didn't just walk into that thing. They have yet to, because that's easy to do. If I come to the conclusion that you did some shit on your own, that you were so fucked up and you were so drunk that you ended up doing some shit to yourself on your own, then okay, that's what it is. If I come to that conclusion and someone asks me, well, are you sure? Did it look like, because someone did this to her or did that to him? And I say, no, that's not possible because there was absolutely no sign of forced injury. There was absolutely no sign of blunt force trauma or any sort of struggle that took place. So that's easy to say. That's easy to say, and that coincides with everything that you're saying. That is your ultimate opinion. Position is that this girl was just really intoxicated and killed herself via a freezer. She killed herself via a freezer, is what you're telling me. And here's the biggest nugget that I want you guys to take from this. Here's the biggest nugget. This is what you're telling me. This is what you're telling me as an official story. So this ain't no YouTube platform. This isn't no, you know what I'm saying, somebody with a YouTube page who just want to talk about it like myself. Point of fact. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a real situation where a real police force has come out and gave their official stance. And only thing I can say that I'm going to continue to say is the only people that I see so far running game. Okay, we're talking about guilt, or we're talking about the assumption of guilt. Let's say it correctly, because that's really what we're talking about, is the assumption of guilt. The assumption of guilt. From the beginning, we have a group of people who are angry, as far as like the girls, her girlfriends, and all those people who are responding. We have groups of people who are angry. We have groups of people who responded in certain ways through that anger. Then we have another set of people that we're looking at that could be possible suspects that we're not really looking at as possible suspects. And when I mean possible suspect, I mean the covering up of whatever it is you found. What is it that you found that you deem necessary to make these kooky and wacky and crazy stories about walking in the freezers while drunk and doing all this? Where are you making these stories up from? You know what I'm saying? Where are you getting this shit from? Where is this happening from? And why? The point is, why? Who's deflecting? You're deflecting. And when we're talking about trouble being handed out to somebody, we start looking for scramblers. Now, all of you on this page, mostly all of you in this chat, you came to my page because we was dealing with scam artists before. We were dealing with people who dodge and dip and dip and dodge when it's time to be asked questions about what the fuck is going on. Well, let's apply that to now. Who's doing the most buck dancing? Who's doing the most buck dancing and that's actually responding about the case? Who's doing the most buck dancing? And I again, here at Shane TV's Watch, I say that the so-called authorities or police are doing the most buck dancing. They're the ones who are shucking and jiving. They're the ones who are saying, yeah, I know, and I know for sure, so leave it alone, just drop it. But now I won't say things that corroborate my own story. They're not even willing to say things that, easy, simple things that corroborate your position, your own story, that go along with your current position. Your current position is that she killed herself via a freezer and alcohol. Which means there should be no sign of trauma, no sign of struggle, of her being into any type of altercation with anybody physically. Yo, there should be no signs of that shit. If there are signs of it, say, yo, though there were signs of some sort of physical struggle she may have had earlier in the night, or whatever the fuck, yo, say that. Say, we still hold a position that thus so and thus and so and thus and so and thus and so. And so, again, and I haven't seen most of these so-called text messages and stuff that everyone's talking about. Like I said, I'm only going off of definitive statements that I know whoever made. And I know for a fact that the police said thus and so, and I know that they will not even answer questions and answer questions truthfully that corroborate their own position story, that go along with their current position. Now you tell me why you have a problem going along with your own opinion and with your own position. You tell me that. Yes, please hit the like button when you come in. If you don't mind, please hit the like button. But we're just now getting on this Shame TV East Watch. And I'm putting my expert hound nose to work. And the people that I smell the most are the authorities. That who was in that hotel that night? What weirdos was in that hotel that night other than the suspected weirdos from the room she was in, who was sharing a room with her, or whoever's room she was in? Because they got a role to play in this as well. Whoever was in that room, you got a role to play in this as far as answering one question. Not whether who put her in the freezer or did somebody even put her in the freezer. All I want to know from the people in that room was there any sort of physical altercation, any sort of violence perpetrated on her, or did she do something to somebody else and she could have got scarred from something she did to somebody else? So basically, is there any bruise marks, fight marks, struggle marks on that girl before she left y'all presence? That's the only question that needs to be asked to everybody in that room, and that's how you start deciphering niggas in that room. That's how you get them niggas in that room. What was going on as far as violence? That's the thing. Who knows if they did a rape kit or not? Because they're not saying. All they're saying is she died in the freezer, and she died via freezer and alcohol. There's nothing else to see here. And when you do shit like that, and I hear it, it automatically makes me think that you're some way culpable in this whole situation. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Because you're not being genuine. When someone wants to come to or get a resolution to a situation, yo, and they genuinely want to do so, they're going to genuinely fucking do that shit. When somebody is fucking around, they're going to fuck around. They're going to say one thing. They're going to say, just leave it alone. They're going to say, they're going to talk around it and things of that nature. They're going to make statements. They're going to make statements like, she died this way. That is called a statement. Okay, you made a definitive statement that this person died this way. Then when questioned merely about the statement that you made, you will not say things like, what time did the coroner say that she could have died, or her possible death, time of death? Like, dog, that's easy to say. Like, why would you not say that if you already said she's dead? That's like a person not wanting to, like, you're saying, officer, can you please tell us the time of death? Time of death? Like, there's nothing more to see here. What do you mean there's nothing more to see here? You said she was dead. Could you just tell us what time she possibly died? Like, is that so much of a request? Yeah, I don't even know how she was living. Again, that's speculation unless you know her. Unless you know her and you got witnesses with personal first-hand knowledge, like, yo, well, how do you know how she was living? Other than what somebody said. And we all know just because somebody says some shit, that's just like talking to the fucking wall. Like, just because somebody say something means nothing. If you don't have facts, proof, verifiable evidence, witness with personal first-hand knowledge to attest to what you're talking about, you just really just talking. I don't even know what she was doing, how she was living any different than anybody else in fucking America. America is a vast open place, man. Like, people live, I'm gonna keep it real as I possibly can, though. Everywhere I've traveled, yo, in America, because I heard Corey Holcomb say the same thing one time. And everywhere, and it was like, I thought about it. Everywhere I travel in America, yo, there's a ghetto-ass place. Like, America's ghetto as fuck, yo. America's ghetto as fuck. So, when you got people, that's why you got so many people who be like, I'm from such and such, or I'm from Compton. You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, niggas in Compton get down, but trust and believe there's niggas in Chicago who get down just the same. Oh, niggas in Chicago get down. Well, trust and know, or they act this way. The girls act wild in Chicago. Well, trust and know, the girls in Boston is just as fucking crazy and wild. Like, it's no, they run into their boyfriends with cars, and like girls do like a girl doing in fucking crazy ass New York, or crazy ass Florida, or them North Carolina girls and them Georgia girls, like cutting each other, and all, like, people do everything wild shit. America's ghetto. So, like, when people act a certain way or we see a certain lifestyle, man, that's every day. That's the new life in America. That's the new life in America. You know what I'm saying? Illuminati Jones, Florida lit. Because I done heard stories about Florida. Then, the same way, I know how if you go to just drive through New Jersey, that whole shit ghetto. Coming through Philly, nigga. You ever been to Pittsburgh? I've been to Pittsburgh. That shit ghetto as fuck, yo. Like, it's like everywhere is ghetto. So it's like this whole mentality is the same. Like, if you even look at it, the white kids adopt that shit too, yo. It's like, it's the same ghetto fucking mentality. It's the same ghetto mentality. But, yeah, I got more to talk about. It's still along the same lines because you guys know how I am. I don't do the extra long stuff. I just be like right on point of what it is that I think, and what I think is the only person that I have to look at right now is the people who are actually covering shit up, and the only people who are actually buck dancing, shuffling, shucking and jiving, all of that shit. The only people that I actually see doing that shit as of right this second is the police, because they're the only ones who came out and gave definitive statements. Everything else is conjecture. Everything else is people's opinions. And I'm going to leave it at that. Shame TV Eastwatch. I got to get ready to go, guys. Peace. Like, comment, share, subscribe.